This gets worse the longer you watch.
A previous Liberal Prime Minister used to say the dangers about being the head waiters to the provinces, and it seems that that's all you guys want to talk about is provinces, territories, but national interest, by its definition, has to reign over provincial interest. So, for example, the Prime Minister has said publicly that that premiers have a veto, like David Eby has said he will not support a pipeline to the Pacific, even though it would be in our national interest to get our energy to other markets. Minister, is there a national interest here, or are you only serving up for the provinces?
I am so happy that right now this is a moment of a degree of national unity and consensus around this effort of a kind I have never seen before. That meeting in Saskatoon, a province, as we know, which has a conservative government, was a meeting with more unity around free interprovincial trade and getting major projects built than any meeting of provinces, territories, and the federal government I have been present at. And so, Mr. Albus, I see no benefit and a great deal of harm at this moment when the provinces are all stepping up in the federal government somehow saying, we're going to push you guys around. The fact is, we don't need to. The provinces are doing a great job.
This is why we have a prime minister and a federal cabinet, is to decide what the national interest is. That actually is your job. But besides that, I would just go back. I'd like just to go to Minister
Our job
LeBlanc.
in the national interest, in fact, is to work collaboratively with provinces and territories where we can. It's
either a crisis or it's not, Minister.
Honey
an emergency
can
or
be
it's
better
not.
than vinegar sometimes in building consensus.
I would like to see a list.
And right now, that's what's happening.
I would like to see a
believe
list,
even
Minister,
the Conservatives are voting for this legislation.
Coming from my federal
and I'm
government.
happy about
Thank
that
you.
too.
Thank you very much, Mr. Albus. And
To no shock at all, she can't even provide an answer. She doesn't have a list of projects and she doesn't even know what the national interest is. And on top of that, the Bloc Québécois leader absolutely shreds Mark Carney.
And we are seeing that there has been no action on what seemed to be a crisis. Mr. Carney said this himself. No crisis, no Carney. I mean, after the election, he could have done something else, but he didn't talk about the crisis anymore. And the only result we're seeing is Mr. Trump's team meeting with Carney's team to try and save face. We'll get together and talk again in 30 days. Mr. Carney made some extremely costly commitments, legislation to protect the borders, which raises questions of ethics, I might add. And he abandoned the counter tariff supposedly because he could reach an agreement with Mr. Trump before the G7. Before the G7. And what he actually secured, without going back on any of the concessions that he'd already made, was 30 days. You know, getting 30 days from Mr. Trump is easy. He probably would have made the offer himself. So I'm sorry to have to say this, but Mr. Carney got nothing.
You don't have to apologize for saying the truth. The sad fact of the matter is, most people knew this from the beginning. The past 10 years was nothing but promises and garbage rhetoric. And with the majority of the same caucus still around, I expected nothing different. Anyway, I'd like to know what you think down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, and thank you very much for watching.